Let's queer up by breaking news. Trans community boycott of Pink News and CEO Benjamin Cohen over being incredibly contentious. In a shocking revelation, Pink News, the UK's leading LGBTQ media outlet, has come under fire after a leaked recording of CEO Benjamin Cohen surfaced, signaling a drastic shift in the company's focus away from transgender issues. Pink News is one of the world's most respected LGBTQ media outlets that Queer News Tonight often references. The audio, leaked on social media by a Twitter account under the handle @PinkNewsStaff, captures Cohen making statements that have sent shockwaves through the LGBTQ community. In the recording, Cohen is heard advising caution, stating, quote, "We have to be careful." He goes on to emphasize that it is, quote, "the role of others to change narratives," suggesting that continued coverage of transgender issues could result in a loss of advertising revenue for the company. This revelation has sparked outrage for many in social media, especially given Pink News' reputation as a champion for the entire LGBTQ community. Cohen's comments suggest a calculated move to distance the outlet from what he describes as incredibly contentious issues, specifically those concerning the transgender community. The audio concludes by saying, "We don't want to be positioning ourselves as some sort of charity."
Things that relate to trans and non-binary remain incredibly contentious. I think that the marriage, the idea, and we're celebrating 10 years of same-sex marriage this year, I think that the society has moved on and it has been generally accepted. And while, yes, when we were doing it, it was contentious, I think that the other things are even more contentious than that was then, and are significantly contentious now, and there is significant brand and partner nervousness around that topic. And so, in my view, they are different things. I think that we just have to be careful, and it's that's for others to do. And also the business can't afford to do that. It's the role of others to seek to change narratives. If we start doing too many things, I think it will harm the conversations with advertisers for other things, because it gives the perception that Pink News is something different to it is. What we are is an entertainment content powerhouse. We don't want to be positioning ourselves as some sort of charity.
Angry community members are flooding social media, talking about the contrast between Pink News' mission statement and Cohen's views. The account @PinkNewsStaff, which joined Twitter in May 2024, has been active in releasing a series of allegations against the outlet, including claims of toxic culture marked by alleged bullying, harassment, and discrimination. We have seen corporate brands and businesses surrendering to conservative bullies and bans. Many early comments in social media draw comparisons to corporate entities caving to pressure over trans and LGBTQ issues, and allege Pink News may be doing the same thing. This is a breaking and evolving story, and Queer News Tonight will continue to follow and report updates. It's true. I mean, we saw Target do it. We were kind of threatening Walmart if they were going to do it as well. I mean, I have 2 points here that make me nervous, because I don't want to, I want to play devil's advocate, but I also don't want to play devil's advocate, because this was a leaked audio. We weren't supposed to hear it, right? So this is all kind of, stuff that was supposed to happen behind the scenes, maybe not a viewpoint he wanted out in public. But if you think about it, trans issues have become kind of tied into all these other very, very tumultuous events that, to be frank, ties them into people who are not mentally stable, people who are calling themselves or referring to themselves as bugs, when they want to identify as a bug. So if you think about it, you're like, yeah, sure, maybe we shouldn't identify in this moment right now. But then you're talking about Pink News, which is a leading LGBTQ outlet who should be supportive in a major way. So maybe a Target and Pink News have nothing to do with each other, because Target is not an advocacy of the trans community.
Right. Well, there's also the fact that Pink News, which is based in Britain, there's a lot, if you think that the US transphobes are bad, they literally have a billionaire woman who basically rail against trans rights every single damn week. J.K. Rowling has nothing to do. She's not counting her Harry Potter money. She is just basically railed against trans persons all day long. I can see why he wants to reduce coverage as a business decision.
Right.
But on the other hand, as a LGBTQ news outlet, that's an incredibly bad move, at least bad looking.
Right. I mean, you could maybe see this, imagine this at a mainstream publication, right? But a publication that is by and for LGBTQ people, you would think it seems like it's contrary to their mission, right?
Exactly. As someone who's run an LGBTQ magazine, it was very weird to hear this. 'Cause on the one hand, like, I'm used to having the conversations where, like, you want to try and make sure your advertisers are happy, you want to keep your readers happy, but some of it just didn't make sense to me. Like, I understand that, people say, like, well, the LGBTQ community, it's everybody, maybe articles you claim don't get as much with trans, but at least at Options, we always got plenty of views on the trans content.
Right.
We never had advertisers saying any of this stuff.
Right.
The words that really struck me, like, as not just someone who's run a magazine, but someone who has for years been a judge in the Excellence in Journalism Awards for the National LGBTQ Journalists Association, was his claim that we are an entertainment content powerhouse. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you do position yourself as a news outlet on LGBTQ content. You do like...
News is in their name.
Right? And think we're not a charity. Like, I'll remind people that not only has Options not been a for-profit, Hotspots is also a magazine and stuff. Somehow these two nonprofit magazines are able to both do entertainment news and investigative journalism for the LGBT community. So this Cohen, I mean, if he wants my personal advice, I'd say, Pink News, if you're looking for a new editor, hi, I love money, and
I also
think
volunteer as well.
Well, wait. What do you guys think? What do you make of this charity comment? What was that supposed to mean?
it was bizarre.
Yeah.
Like
I'm doing you a favor by putting you in our publication.
right? Like that's literally their job.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or
it's to cover the community. It's not
Exactly.
charity, it's the community.
I think he's referring to the fact that if they lose advertisers, then they're going to run at a loss, and that's what he was referring to as charity.
But again, if you're going to advertise in Pink News, it's
Exactly.
Pink
Sure.
News.
I'm assuming a sponsor may have said something got into his brain, because why else would he kind of have this position? And this was a position, again, behind closed doors. What would those words have been in public that were contrasting to his views?
This is that other part of the story of the, who are these advertisers pushing this? Because that's very disturbing. Because I will say the only thing I'll say in sort of defense of him, every time you've seen a queer or a non-mainstream news outlet go and mess with their funder, and I'm talking about, like, Into Magazine decided it would be okay to do reporting about its owner, Grindr.
Yeah.
Grindr shut it down. Think Progress started actually reporting on what the Center for American Progress was doing that was inappropriate. Think Progress got shut down.
Yeah.
So if there's any truth to this, that's concerning, because there is no good record for media outlets withstanding this. But at the same time, like, who are these advertisers doing this?
And also, in the days of AI and fake news and Project Veritas and all that crap, we do not know about
About the source of this.
the source
leak.
of this. It can be
leak.
quoted. It can be quoted out of context.
Right.
Yeah.
It can be AI generated, or it can be spliced, like the way that Project Veritas does.
It could, but unless we have any proof of that at the moment, like, this does sound a lot like what an editor having, like, a meeting with his advertisers sounds like. To my knowledge, this is the person's voice. I mean, we could be wrong. We could all have egg on our face over it, but at the moment, I have a feeling it's more likely to be accurate than
Well, let's see how they respond. We'll stick with it. So stay tuned on that.